Hey, what's up, my people? How you doing? My name is Dalton, and of course, this is my YouTube channel, Dalton My World, and I got a quick, well, I ain't gonna say quick. I have a story time for you, and this came to my mind the other day. Okay, when I was applying for some jobs, and some people have been reaching out to me, desktop support. All right, and this story time is about the worst desktop computer support, work from home job that I ever had. Okay. And I was excited. Okay. And it was for a company called Kelly Services. And Kelly Services has an online division, Kelly Online, where for all their work at home, and they support a lot of different online companies. Companies, such and Apple is one of them. So I got hired to do desktop support, right? And work from home. Now, and off and on, I had been working for Apple, tier one, Macs, and all that stuff. So I'm excited. I got my piece of paper and my notebook, and I'm ready. And the first day, I already knew. I already knew something was wrong, right? The first day, the guy that's supposed to train me, he did. He said, "Man, I tell you what," he said, "I'm really new at this because I never really had to train people before." He said, "And I'm just really surprised that we actually got the job, to support so many different MacBooks." You know, he said he was surprised this company got it because this would be the first time they ever got such a big client, Apple, right? So it was for Kelly Services. So I'm like, okay. Okay, let me give you an example. Usually, if you're working for Apple, right, or any company, and I don't care if, whatever you're doing, tier one, customer service, whatever, you go through, especially with Apple, you go through this rigorous, hard training. And then you have to take a test to prove that you know what you're doing before you're allowed to officially work for Apple, right? So, and that's a lot of modules you have to do and get tested on, and PDF files you have to read and take tons of notes. It's almost like going to getting a certification of some type. This guy, he didn't even have PDF files. Okay, he he had nothing. Okay, and he there were certain times when he's supposed to do things. He's training us, and he's like, "Well, on this right here, best thing to do is just wing it." That was his go-to, right? Just wing it, you know. I was like, oh shit. And the other guy that was training, because he got hired the same time I got hired, he had worked for a school district, on site as well as work from home, so he had some knowledge as well. But he was way out in like Idaho. All right, so his internet connection sometimes would not work. Other times he was super late logging in, so I didn't get the full training. It was chaotic, okay, and I hated when he was late, because one time he was late, and the guy training me says, "Well, he did email me and say he'd be here in about 15 minutes." So he starts talking to me, and he says, "Well, Dalton, I'm just telling you something about myself." He says, so it won't be a shock, I am bisexual, but I'm very open-minded. And I'm like, okay. And then he says, I am fascinated with Afro-American men. And he said, I had my minor when I got my 4-year degree. My minor was Afro American history. It's like, I'm like, oh shit. Please, Lord, tell me it's not, And anytime that guy is late, he would break off and talk about some of his personal shit. And like one time he said, I'm really excited today. I'm so excited, Dalton. I was like, he says, I met this young man and uh and we're gonna go out on a date. I think he might be the one. He is so nice, beautiful dark skin, all this other stuff. And I'm just like, oh shit, come on, man. You know, what the hell this got to do? But and one time I actually kind of caught him flirting with me. And I was like, okay, this is my imagination. And then I realized, no, it was not. Okay. And the training was awful. Okay. They had nothing set up for training. And his go-to, like I said, was wing it, shouldn't be a problem, And the head manager over the company was this obese, like 400 and something pound Mexican gay guy. And, nothing against gay people or anything, but he was just annoying. Okay. And he was always telling me that I was doing it wrong. Oh, you're doing this wrong. And he would always have these conferences with me, right? And so what I started doing, I had another guy who had been there for years, right? Check over my ticketing. Ticketing is when you write up, when you help someone out, you have to write up everything and show what you did, And I mean, there's a lot to desktop support, but even to this day, I get PTSD even thinking about desktop support after that experience. And he literally, the head manager would always call me, well, you're on a 90-day probation, so, if you were doing everything right, I wouldn't call you, but I had problems. So he was always calling me into his virtual office and complaining about how I did stuff, right? And even though I had people who had been working there for years, okay, check over my stuff, and they were like, yeah, this is exactly how I do it. And I saw theirs, and, they showed me theirs, and it was duplicate, right? But for some reason, mine was always wrong, even though it was duplicate to how they did it. And they looked over mine. It was like, there's nothing wrong with this. What is he talking about? Okay. And I mean, the employees, except for the guy training me and my managers, the other employees were cool. I like them. They were very cool. Weird sense of humor and everything, but super, super cool. And I tell you what, I was so glad when that guy fired me, because he was trying to get me to quit. I wouldn't quit. And when he fired me, he got mad, so he went on and fired me. So I was like, awesome. Because he wanted me to quit, because if I would have quit, I would have had a hard time getting unemployment till I find another job. But he fired me. And I was so happy, man. I was so happy. And they had the audacity, like years later, to contact me to see if I want a job doing desktop support. With no, hell no, no. Years later, gonna come back to me and ask me if I want a job doing sex help. No, I don't think so. But I was so happy when they fired me. I ain't lying. I am not lying. Man, yeah, and I know they ate him up, because everything I learned and studied, and I even took some online classes while I was working there, gave me experience as a desktop support tech, and and I know that ate him up. because he was just doing his best trying to crush my spirit any way he could. Yeah, between the manager and the guy that's supposed to be training us, and the other guy I was paired with that never always having the internet problems. Uh, and then no documentation for training either. I mean, none. Okay. Oh, you had to go and sometimes he would virtually show us stuff how he did it, but they had no documentation set up for training. It was horrific. It was a mess, and that was the worst. I'm telling you, that was the worst desktop support analyst job that I've ever had. Okay. And I think the hardest part about that job is telling people when they called and I had to look up their stuff and, changing passwords and all that stuff was easy. But I had to look up their stuff and I found out that, some of them were fired. That's the reason they couldn't log in. Telling them that was the roughest part of the job because some of them, Kelly Online Services are not friendly. Okay. You can work with them, but if you fart, okay, lose air the wrong way, they'll fire you. I mean, and they tempt you by giving you a lot of money. We pay $17 an hour. If you work for us and you could be working for Apple, you'll pay you $17, but what they don't tell you is they expect you to try to help 5 customers at one time. Okay, as Kelly Services does. Okay, and they don't tell you that stuff. And if you complain or something go wrong, your internet go wrong or something, they'll fire you on the spot. Yep. And a lot of people, they didn't even know they were fired. And I had to be the one to give them the bad news, and then make a ticket and write it up and explain all that stuff. So it was the worst. That was the worst. And he was always, this coming have kind of hard to explain to me. How to do this. Just wing it. Just wing it. You'll be all right. Just wing it. Woo. Oh man. So I wanted to tell you about that. The other day, I was talking to someone I know. This is a whole different story. And they were adding up, and I'm listening to them, and they were adding up large amounts of money, right? And telling me, and then they end up telling me, so basically what you get, and I didn't know they were talking about me, but they were basically telling me how much I got on unemployment a week. And I was like, no. You got it all wrong. Okay. And then trying to add up how much you get from YouTube and unemployment. No. You only get a percentage of what you make when you work for unemployment. And I get the money from before the rate of hours went up. Okay. So that money I got is calculated on how much I was making back then. Not how, and I was like, no. And that just kind of remind me, I had to kind of set her straight. I don't know where you got those calculations from, but that's all wrong, And and that reminded me of something a friend of mine was, an ex-friend. She was a Taurus, Gemini cusp, but I did learn. I don't ever want to go back there, but I did learn some stuff from her. And one thing she was saying is that people have a tendency to rely on their data from old profiles that they have of you. Okay. And That's why I found out that she was doing, and a lot of people do that with me. They'll they'll ask other people, go to a psychic, jump around and hug a tree instead of asking me, and then they'll ride off of information from an old profile that they have on me mentally, spiritually, and physically. In paper. Some people I know actually write down profiles on their friends and stuff, and it's old. And then they'll run on that old information thinking they know exactly what's going on. Okay, people, y'all gotta stop doing that. A lot of y'all are running on old profiles, and that can get you messed up. Okay, a lot can happen in a year. Definitely a lot can happen in over 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, y'all, I guess I'll wrap to y'all later. Y'all be cool. All right. And be careful, because this weather that we're about to have right now is no joke. Okay? Make sure you got blankets in your car, enough gas. Okay? Don't be wearing a little hoodie trying to be cute. Okay? Because, like, tomorrow is going to be we're going to have a high of 11 and a low of 1. And that is not the wind chill. That's literally the temperature. And it may actually rain. So it's no joke, people. Be prepared. Get your batteries and all that stuff. All right? And I'll wrap to y'all later. Peace.